Sound check. Okay, good. I'm live. This is going to be a quick hangout, not like last night's 1 hour deal. So I've titled this one Retired USDA Surveyor Rayism 24Bs. Myrtle Beach Challenge accepted. Hey Garth, how are you? Nim, good evening. So I'm finally getting around to answering Rayism. Garth, you're going to love this. Let's see, where do I want to start? Well, for one thing, I'd like to make everyone aware, if you're not, Ray's challenge involves 100 grand. And what I'm going to propose to Ray tonight is how he can possibly win $400,000. So I'm going to suggest a better way of doing the work he wants to do down there in Myrtle Beach that will do more than just trig leveling, because all that's going to do is level for 60 miles. You really need the positions of each of the stations. So I'm going to go into some detail there. And by golly, if you can do it, Ray, you could quadruple your money. So check this video out, giant six-figure Flattie challenge. He's down under, as you can see. So he's the real deal. He's actually down under, as you can see here in his video. So the link to this is in my description of this little hangout. Now, I'll look at this in just a minute. First thing I want to look at is oh, come on, where's my global mapper? I thought I had global mapper up. All right, stand by. I gotta launch global mapper. Yeah, here we go. That's going to take a minute to load these maps. Sorry for the wait. While that's loading, I'll make sure I've got everything else I need. Okay. Oh, well, that's loading. Let's look at this. It's a nice picture, isn't it? That's the Empire State Building. That's my crosshair at, I'm going to guess. This is taken from Washington State Park, I think it's called. No, Washington Rock in northern New Jersey, looking east, of course. And on my blog, you can find pictures. And I think that's about, go to my blog. I'm not going to quote these distances. I have that all available there. And then way down here, way down to the east on Long Island, I have pictures looking back in this direction. And those are like 40 some miles away. And so at a much lower elevation. This one's at a higher elevation. All right, let's see if this is ready. Nope, it's still loading. Sorry. Do you guys want me to start over? See what's going on over here. Another flatter six-figure challenge? No, it's a guy named Critical Think down in Australia offering, He at first offered 200,000, and other people, I guess they piled on or contributed, so it's up to $400,000. Hey, Sean. Hey, Tony. All right, let's see if this thing's ready. I really meant to do this before. Oh, come on. Stay there. It's a lot of files loading right now. It's taking too long. I should go make a cup of coffee. All right, here we go. Let's zoom way out. Okay. So I was showing this last night to people. That's the Gleason map. So Ray, here's what I'm proposing. We use this map to do the survey challenge that you're talking about down here in Myrtle Beach. Seems reasonable, right? This is the flat Earth map. This piece of software I'm using is called Global Mapper. And so I took this map, georeferenced it, assigned the coordinates on the azimuthal equidistant projection. Okay. Just as it's supposed to be done. And one of the cool things about this map or this program is that now you can make sense of distances on here. Think about how many years people have been struggling and making so many videos just on this topic alone of pulling rulers straight across this map. And you think about it, it's like, well, no wonder it doesn't work. You can't just pull a ruler across here. You got to understand that this map is a projection. It's a mapping projection of the globe. It says so right on it. And I don't know why people ignore that. So if you're going to measure a distance from the North Pole to the equator, there's the equator, it's going to work just fine. You could see the distances are being displayed down here in the lower left. So if you measure distances along the meridian, it works quite well that way. If you're going to measure a distance from, say, somewhere over here in Africa over to South America, you see how that works? And the reason this works is because this piece of software is making use of the azimuthal equidistant projection mathematics that take the globe and project it onto this flat two-dimensional surface. Everyone likes to say flat Earth map. And I'm starting to repeat myself, but not everyone is hearing every single hangout I do, so I'll say it again. Flat Earth map is redundant, all right? So maps are flat, the Earth is not. So you could see how it's measuring, and watch what happens when you go like this, back over here. So it's a great circle distance, and it's accurate. It's accurate to the level of my ability to georeference this old PDF file, like to say, okay, do I have that latitude and longitude picked correctly? Yeah, I did a decent job of it. Like that should be 30, 75. So 30 degrees north, 75 west, and I'm looking down here. All right. Now, of course, let's see here. If I let me stop the distances here. Let me get right to the business at hand is to use this map as our basis for doing a survey for the 60 miles down there in Myrtle Beach. But now you notice when you zoom in, like down here, the line gets really thick and it's just really small scale. So what I did is I also downloaded some maps that Ray is very familiar with. US Geological Survey, topographic maps. These are quadrangles. They're 7.5 minutes by 7.5 minutes each. And you can get these right from USGS and download them as PDFs. So I've registered them to this Gleason map so that the coordinates are, if you could see where I'm pointing here, let's move it over here to where the values are right here. Okay, so what do we got? 33, 22, 30, 79, 15. There we go. Boom. Slightly off. I could have done better. Anyway, you get the idea. So basically, these maps are accurately placed within the coordinate system being used to reference the Gleason map. Here's Myrtle Beach right there. Every time I zoom in, you can see Myrtle Beach, then it gets covered over by the adjoining map. So that's what I would say. Let's go down here and do that survey in this coordinate system. That's the first thing I did. Then I went ahead and imported these maps into the software I use quite a bit. That's right here. So here again, you can see what I did here is I just took a piece of the Gleason map in that coordinate system. You can see here, this is 30 degrees north, 75 degrees west. That's the intersection of this latitude and longitude. So, and I imported those topographic maps. And I also went and got some control points that, let's see, where am I going here? I went to the database, which is real nice. It's all visual online now. And all I did here was plunked an X here and did a 30-mile radius. And you could take your pick if you just want to use good old-fashioned classical geodetic control done with triangulation. You could use those. I picked GPS points because we just learned from Chris Van Matrie that GPS works. And he's a surveyor and he believes the earth is flat, but he uses GPS every day in his job. So I was happy to hear that Sunday night that we can use GPS. So Ray, I think we'll have an easier time of doing the survey using GPS. So what I did was just found some points that we could check into along the way periodically. I mean, you don't have to check into all these. There's a lot of them. So I've found a selection of points. I think I went like every 5 miles. Here's the border of South Carolina and North Carolina. Kind of started up here and went about every 5 miles just so we could have something to check into, make sure we're on the right track. And of course, your purpose, of course, would be to show how those are wrong, because the earth is flat. You would come up with different values on those points, and that's how you'll win the $400,000 by disproving this control. So anyway, let's go over to here. That's what these points are. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here's the other thing I'm proposing, that For the elevation value, we would select a tidal station. And here I found one, but there's a bunch we could pick to use. You could say mean high water or mean low water or mean sea level, whatever datum you want to choose. We can reference the survey to that. So that's what these control points are here for. And it's just basically the data sheet that you get right from the database. Gives you the latitude and longitude, which of course is what the Gleason map is referenced to. That's what I did. So we're in the same coordinate frame, reference frame. And, they have elevations on them, so we'll be able to check in, make sure we're not going off track, or, that's how I would look at it. And I'm speaking in layman's terms. I'm not really talking survey jargon. Let me see if I can switch into that mode. So the idea is if we're doing a control survey to establish new points, we would want to check into existing control and to assure that we're on the same datum and that our values would be being produced in the same reference frame as the existing control. So this is a first order leveled benchmark. That's a nice point to check to. And here's the horizontal, here's the three-dimensional positional tolerance on that point. Okay, that's centimeters. So that's 0.29, 0.29, 0.5 centimeters at 95% confidence. So I went for some really nice tight control points. And again, like I said, if you're out to show that the Earth is flat, you would come up with different values. I'm imagining. You're not going to, that would be your job, is to show how these are invalid or, in error or mistaken. I don't know. What would you say? So you would do that and show how your measurements are producing consistent results on the flat Earth, and then you can win the $400,000 from Critical Think. So I think that's all I wanted to talk about. Maybe I can get off of here quickly. Looks like this thing just got hung up. It's got a lot of, there it is. There we go. Back. It's back. Of course, we could take these and actually load them into our data collector so we could see them as we go. It's almost like having, Google Maps on your iPhone or on your smartphone. These would be in the background. And now, if you don't want to use GPS, you could still do a total station traverse. I wouldn't do trig levels. I would literally do a traverse. It would take a long, long time. Okay. I'm going to go back, check the chat, and probably just sign off. I think that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. How's everyone doing? I have one more hangout I'm going to do probably in about 15 minutes. The International Flat Earth Conference. I think it starts tomorrow. It's exciting over there in Denver. So I'm going to make a little video about that. So I've made my point here. I think I've covered everything. Rayism 24B. Um, get a hold of me. We could discuss this, see what you think of the idea, maybe augment it. I know this is not. Oh, but Rob, what are you saying here? You can't see the scale on the on which map? On the I don't know which map you meant because I've got several opened. I am totally an indoctrinated liar. Shame on me. That's hilarious, says the indoctrinated liar. Well, that's about all you have to say. Yeah, that's probably all you can say. Just liar, liar. That's all you can say. You're funny. Oh, but the earth is flat. Say that. Go ahead. Type that. Earth is flat. Oh my God. Earth is flat because I saw it on YouTube. Rob, what are you asking me? What scale? Which scale? On the Gleason map? All right. We could talk later, Rob. Just let me know which map you're asking about. I think I still have it up. Well, the scale on these maps. You mean like these the topographic maps? There's that scale. Is that what you're asking about? Or are you asking about um, the scale of the Gleason map? I think there's a scale bar at the bottom. So is that what you're asking me? Yes, Gleason's. Okay, here it is. I'll go back to it. Here you go. Let me see if I can slide that over and look at the chat at the same time. There's no scale on Gleason's. What do you don't think that's a scale? English miles corresponds to nautical miles. Right, John's right. This works. There's not a scale bar, he says. Well, what do you call this, Rob? But John is correct. This scale works along the meridians. Um, I'm thinking there might be a tool, like some kind of tool that if you measure the chord distance with a ruler, that if you knew, I bet there's a mathematical way. I think if you measure that chord, you could calculate the actual great circle distance at that latitude, something like that. You'd need to do something along those lines. Now, if you measure from here to here, it's going to be okay. It's not going to be too bad. It's when you get down into here. So, like if I go, if I like John said, if you measure along the meridian, it's good. If you measure from here to here, it's not too bad. But if you think you're going to measure from here over to here, right, straight across here, That is not going to work with a ruler. But if it, in this piece of software and probably others, you're going to get a better distance. And then especially when you go down to these latitudes. It has to be on the map itself, he says. Well, I thought I showed you that. Rob, I'm going to pause and see if we can clear this up. What do you think this is right here? Okay, I'm bearing with you. I'm bearing with you. Hold the bus. Okay. Let's pause here. Hey, Kelly White. It's been a while since I've seen your name. How you doing? We're bearing with Rob right now. He's gonna Good to hear. He's gonna tell us he wanted us to see a scale bar. Hey, I'm just talking to fill in time, Rob, not rushing you. Okay, Kevin wants to Kevin wants to measure over here. This is fun. First. Okay. Yeah, I know you're not arguing. Kelly says, I want to let everyone know that I got a hold of the guy that set up the laser experiment for the Genius program. I'm not familiar with what that is, but that's pretty cool. John is absolutely correct saying this about the measuring. Let's see. I believe there's no correlation. Okay, Rob says, I believe there's no correlation between what you call scale bars with the map itself. Sean, here be monsters. Now, trying to address a lot of people. Kevin wants to go up to Australia. Yeah, it's up here now. Go up to Australia and measure that across with the tool. Okay. Where do you want to go from? I see something called Albany, and there's Sydney. Okay, so let's go from Albany to Sydney. Whoops. There we go. So I'm seeing down in the lower left-hand corner, um, 3,182 kilometers. I'm rounding off 3,183. So how does that compare with what we know it to be, or what we think it is? Steve, now don't argue with Rob. He's trying to make a point about something having to do with the scale. Class, now, this is funny. Uh, okay. Okay, Kevin said Australia is approximately the same across the USA. Well, you may have just found something weird about this map. Let's go measure the United States. Let's say I'll measure along let's see here. That's 30. This is 45. There's the 45 parallel. How about if we go from, there's Buffalo, there's Boston. How about from New York City to Portland? I'm going to let this mouse go for a second. There we go. My phone is buzzing away here. Let's see here. I got people joining my Facebook group. My okay. All right, let's see here. I was looking at my phone. I'm missing the chat. Let's see here. Visually, there's a huge difference anyway, but oh, Rob, I don't, I can't do that, man. Rob wants me to put a ruler on the screen and measure Sydney to Albany, then put that on the scale bar. Do you mind if we do that another time? I don't have a ruler right now, and maybe we'll schedule another hangout to talk about this map. I don't know. What is it? What do we all think about this distance, Portland to New York? 4,017 kilometers. Let's ask Google. What's the distance from Portland to New York City in kilometers?
The drive from Portland to New York is 4,658.4 kilometers.
Well, that's a drive. That's a wiggly drive at that. All right, so it added about 500K. It goes down into Utah, and it's not the same thing as what we're doing here. So that won't work. You got to ask for the, like, maybe the Great Circle distance or something. Well, listen, folks, I want to make another quick hangout, and you're welcome to join me over there. I've accomplished this, what I had to say tonight to Ray about his challenge. And doesn't that sound like a cool idea, though? If you're going to go survey for 60 miles, you know, do it fast, do it accurately. Or you could take a long time and just do it the old-fashioned way with the theodolite. But if anybody caught my video or my hangout I did last night called Chris Van Matrie Proves the Earth is a Globe, one of my questions to him was, because he accepts GPS, he uses GPS. He's a flat Earth believer that uses GPS and says it works, albeit he doesn't believe in satellites and he thinks it's working in some other way. I guess cell towers and all that, ground station type stuff. but he uses it and he says it works. So why don't we use it? And we'll do it. We'll do it in this Gleason map coordinate system. How's that? All right, that's all I have to say for Ray. I'm going to sign off now and start another hangout in just a few moments with having to do with the Flat Earth Conference coming up. And that's it. All right. Join me over there or join me another time. Oh, Kevin is asking me, where did I get the Gleason map? Go on my channel and look for the video where I talk about georeferencing the Gleason map, or it might even be called the Gleason map works perfectly fine, something like that. Flat Earth map works fine or works well or something like that. Go look at there, and in the link or in the description box is the link where I found it. You can find it in a lot of places, but if you just search on Gleason map PDF, you'll find sources for it. And I downloaded the high resolution thing. You're welcome, Tony. Everyone, thank you for stopping by. And I'm going to sign off now and start up another hangout for the last one I'll do tonight, I think. And that's it. Take care, everybody.